Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. Yeah, it's lit in the Chop Shop. Turn your dials up in the drop top. They ain't based in debate, but they keep it fact straight. Going 30 for 30. Let's do a first take on Facebook Live from 12 to 2. Rob Hatter and Jim Hicks going back and forth like Carter Ray and Skip Bayless and Stephen Smith. From on the court, off the court, straight to the field. Not a man that steals, but I made it steal. To the octagon where I fight to kill. We go face to face, then you write your will. I don't play tennis, but I bring the racket. I'm on the floor, I attack the basket. Put you in the casket when I'm overlapping. Never showing mercy, cause I'm always snapping. Never showing mercy when I'm in the arena. Step into the ring, he hit me as I beat him. Step into the court, I'm never backing down. Killing competition, I'm smacking down. Let me get back to the other stuff at the Chop Shop, cause they cutting up. It's Retro coming to you live to the Chop Shop. Now let's turn it up. Yeah, we in the Chop Shop, man. Shout out to Jim Hicks and Rob Hatter. You can catch the Chop Shop live from 12 to 2 on Facebook Live. Let's get it.
You know what time it is? Time for the best 120 minutes of your day. It's yours truly, the hater, Chris Walker, sitting here with my man, former Cornell's dad, Robert Memphis Lovin' Hatter. And of course, you see what Hattie has on. He's the biggest bandwagoner of all. They won 5 straight, and he got his Rockets hat on. Jimmy Cheat Sheet Hicks.
You gotta take that shirt off. He gotta take that hat off. Dude, I refuse to let you wear that hat, man.
I mean, he is the biggest, but I'll tell you one thing he has not accomplished. He has not accomplished.
What?
And you know what that is?
What?
I'm on the end zone dance like Odell Beckham because the San Francisco 49ers got that head beat in last night, and me and Sarah and Hatter got us a dub last night.
Yes,
that right now. Absolutely. We looking good right
Chris,
now. What's up, fellas?
First of all, I'd like to thank everybody who came out last night. Daryl Anderson, Kim Corville, Bilal Badley. I could just keep naming names. Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all coming out last night. We watched the game. I said, Jimmy, watch the game. This is what I said, Chris. I said, Jimmy, we're going to win. I'm going to win this one. Get what he doing with Chris. Chris,
what's that?
Look at the screen. He didn't want to hear it. He didn't want to hear it last night. But I thank you. We had a great time at Phil and Derek's last night. Y'all missed it. We had a great time. Jimmy was at the bar. I hope somebody had gave him some extra money or something. Jimmy just put the money on the bar and told the man, just let them folks drink and we just gonna spend till this money run out. So yeah, y'all missed it.
How far did $100 get you?
Hey man, it was hundreds.
Oh, hundreds? Okay,
hundreds.
My bad. Hundreds.
It was more than 100. It was more than
my bad.
You see how man, come on, man, quit hating.
I just asked how far 100 get you. That's all I want to know. But, Jimmy obviously has got some excuses, just like usual. You know what? As Jimmy always said, keep that same energy. Isn't that what he tell you? Keep that same energy, Hatter. Keep that. If he wins, keep that same energy. Look at him right now. He got a Rockets. That's how he tries to deflect.
I ain't never seen no stuff like that. I'm appalled right now. Jimmy, I'm appalled at you right now. For real.
Well, before we get into NFL talk, we want to, and you mentioned some of the people that was in the building last night and during the Monday Night Football and the Rockets. Thank everybody for coming out once again. But we want to give a special shout out, an extra shout out to Kim Corville as she came out and started the celebrations for her birthday, which is today, November the 12th.
Oh, so happy birthday
for Kim Corville. And, and she's en route. Thank the University of Texas today for UT as a home game. And that's what mamas do. They're going to get on the road and parents and follow their sons and daughters, especially during their freshman campaigns. But last night,
Jimmy, sing your campaign too, Jimmy, you know I didn't miss it. Jimmy, only time I missed the game when it was a blizzard, it was a snowstorm. The only time I missed the game. I can't help it.
That's crazy. I guess that's true.
Crazy. It's fun, dude. I'm serious, man. On the road by yourself, going to cities you never been to, going to visit colleges you never been. Jimmy, that was 4 of the most fantastic years of my life. 4 expensive years of my life, but 4 of the most fantastic times of my life.
Jimmy, it only took me one game, and I would never go to another game with him again. It only took me one game, and I'm glad I didn't endure any of those 4 years.
I hate that boy, man.
Ooh, he wouldn't let you sit next to him. I mean, oh no, you couldn't sit next to him.
I don't like nobody sitting next to me at the game.
Next to him, I'm like, you gotta be serious.
I don't talk during the game. I don't cheer. I don't say nothing. Leave me the hell alone.
Tyler, you do be talking to yourself in the game.
Oh, to myself? Yeah.
Yeah, you be talking your ass off.
I be talking to myself. Yeah.
But I don't know who the hell. I thought maybe you got Kazoo or somebody on his shoulder. I don't know. Man. I said, damn, he talking to himself. I remember back when West Side played, you sit up at the top of the bleachers.
Up at the top, Doc. I didn't want nobody around me. Because somebody going to say something ignorant and I'm going to cuss them out. And then y'all call me a PGW. So
you definitely a PGW.
No,
listen.
I'm a parent gone cool.
So with that being said, going into the high school and the college seasons are amongst us. They've started.
Yes.
So now, as an advanced parent, that means you went through the cycles of amateur sports being in the stand. What are some tips that you can give if you had to do it all over again? Because nowadays you see an uptick in the violence at youth games as far as people squabbling and talking smack. So how do a parent, if you're a parent and you know you have thin skin, how should you, what are some measures you should take when attending your kids' games this season?
In the famous words of Jesse Washington, good question, Jimmy. good question. Jimmy, like I had my routine, Jimmy. I stayed away. It was one time I wanted to choke a parent. Okay? And it was at the Bel Air game. I don't know if y'all remember Bel Air. West Side was a whooping child for Bel Air for a long time. And then when my son came and his crew came, we started beating Bel Air, right? So one of the administrators, assistant coaches for the girls squad was sitting there, and my son fouled out. And I'm close to him, not far from him. He know where I'm at. He know where I am. When my son fouled out, he jumped up and said, "Get his ass out of there."
Oh, wow.
That's the only time, parents. But I did say something back. I said, you were smart enough to send your sorry ass son to Clements because he'd have had 50 on your son. I promise you, that's what I said. And I felt so bad. That's when I started sitting way up away from everybody because I wanted to, he saw me sitting 4 or 5 feet away from him. He's an administrator of Bel Air. And he said, he stood up and said, "Get his ass out of there."
Okay.
I'll never forget.
Here's the question. When people say things in the stands, and not all the time those people are aware of who the parent or the relatives are of the kids or specific kids on the floor.
Yeah.
So you take that into account and understand. And sometimes there's rare instances. I think the majority of the time they really don't know. Because I've many a time, and we're talking amongst college coaches or something, and he might be saying, and I got to bump him on the knee, or I text him real quick, "Coach, that's his mom 2 rows up." Or that's so a lot of times, I think really in most cases, what do you think, Chris? And people really may not know whom they are sitting amongst when they make comments.
Jimmy, he knew.
Here's my thing. I used to tell my parents when I coached, I say, listen to me. I would get them all together. I say, listen, your job is to cheer for the team. don't say anything negative when one of our players does anything bad. Jay Wright should always say this at Villanova. When you go into a press conference, he would always say, never negative about your own team. Never negative about us, always positive about them. If you do that, everybody's into cheering. But what you don't know is most times, Jimmy, people know who the mama or the daddy is. But guess what they don't know? Who the cousin is.
The grandmama.
Grandmama, who the pastor. And then next thing you know, they say something, and then it gets heated. So I used to tell my parents, listen, don't say nothing about your own teammates, kids. If they miss a shot, hey, man, shoot it better the next time. Don't do that, because what's going to happen, Hatter? Then your son going to miss a shot, and then you're going to get mad when they say something. Yeah. Then you got chaos. Yeah. If the other people say that's their job, it's the job of the red team to cheer against the blue team. That's their job.
Right.
And vice versa.
Right.
But the red team can't cheer against the red team. That happens more oftentimes than not. Now, that's when you have problems. When you have kids who are on the same teams, right, and their parents start getting on each other. That's when you got a real problem. Wow. Or they're in a situation where a kid that's really, really good is taking all the shots, and the other kids don't get to shoot it. You know where I'm coming from, Jimmy. I've seen it 1,000 times. And those parents are trying to bite their lip. And then finally, Jimmy, they let it loose. And one of them parents is, again, the cousin sitting next to him, the high school coach, somebody hears it, and then we got a problem. Last point I make. I hope Big Doug ain't on this, or Johnny, what's Johnny's last name? Johnny Brown out on the Facebook feed. I had Jacobin Brown on my team with T-Mac All-Stars. Jimmy will remember this story. I had B.J. Holmes, Larry Davis, Carlton Scott, Steve Chianga, Hashim Thabit. I had a serious team. Jacobin Brown was the number one player. Him and Willie Warren were the number one, number two players in the state. We played at the Kingwood Classic. Jacobin Brown is a lot different kid than he was, a lot different grown-up than he was a kid back then. And everybody in Port Arthur who's sniffing that bad air out there know what I'm talking about. All right? After the first game of the tournament, or maybe it was the end of the tournament because it was such a long time ago, the kids came up to me, B.J. Holmes and all, not the parents, Jimmy. The kids say, Coach, if that dude comes back, we done. We're going to go play for somebody else. Guess what happened after that game? Port Arthur Heat was created. Because I wasn't going to lose my team. Because I was like, you know what? Hey, man, what you need, Johnny? How many pair of shoes you need? We're going to keep him over there so he stay with the Adidas family. But he can't play for the T-Mac All-Stars no more.
Wow.
Them parents was losing their mind.
Wow.
That's what happens, man. You got to learn how to negotiate it. It's tough.
And we go into the Boomer Room, and of course, Angie Stewart Holcomb says, me and my husband don't even sit together. Hatter, what you think about that?
I concur. See, moms, I don't know, some moms, I don't sit with nobody, not just his mom. Because her mom, his grandmother, is such a great lady. So I don't want to be around them. She just cheer for everybody. She cheer for the other team. So, but me, I don't believe in sitting with a spouse if y'all just not cool. I know I wasn't cool.
How you not gonna sit with your spouse, man, cheering for your baby?
Because she wasn't my spouse.
Well, I know you're not gonna sit with that spouse. You already know. Well, I'm not gonna get into your business, but okay. I knew you weren't gonna sit with that one. But that's for sure. You weren't gonna sit with that one.
Hold on. She wasn't gonna sit with him either.
You weren't gonna sit with that one.
He right. She wasn't gonna sit with me either. But you know what? It's a great thing. You know what though? I cherish those years. Parents, don't think it's all bad. Like I said, I cherish those years. Those years are over. That stuff passed by Chris Walker so fast. I would just remember, like I told you, when I dropped him off as a freshman, and now, he calling me talking about, hey man, I got a sex in that towel. I said, Chris Walker can't even get in towel. And
Stop it.
And he got a sex in that towel in New York. So, hey, let me tell y'all something. Parents, enjoy these times. It passed by. And don't let these outside people make this an unpleasant. I know a parent called me the other day, said, Robert, I'm just be glad when it's over. And I had to tell her, No, man.
You know what that mean? Had
What?
a son. Oh, you know what? Let me take that back.
No, her
'Cause
son
you know,
is-
you in rare air.
Okay.
Because usually when they say that, that means their son is not one of the good ones.
No, this son
He's
is one of the good ones.
Yeah, I knew it. I forgot.
But sometimes they get tired of the stuff that comes with. See, I think and I know it's some people's job to critique kids and rank kids, but sometimes we forget that's their mom. She the one got to tell him to pick up his clothes, brush your teeth, and all that. But to everybody else, they're a player. They might have a bad game. He wasn't. So it's a slippery slope.
Let me ask you a question, Jimmy. Jimmy, know this. They all get mad and they don't like it right now, but they want to make it to the NBA and make all that money. What do you think gonna happen when they get to that level? If you can handle it now while you're in high school,
right?
When RCS Sports is talking about you,
that's good.
What makes you think you're gonna be able to handle it when you're gonna be on the cover of USA Basketball or ESPN and somebody saying you got mossed? What makes you think you're gonna take?
Oh, that's a good one there, Chris.
So you better learn. You better get some thick skin if you want to be a big time player, and if you want to be on ESPN with Dick Vitale and all these people talking about you. You better develop some thick skin very quickly.
Good word, Chris.
Anthony Weston says, I was at a game on Saturday. My wife was trying to get as far away from me as
Weston probably a PG. We might have to add another letter for Weston. He a PGDW. A parent gone damn wild.
Hey, Anthony Weston, he probably wanted to preach about the HBCUs and the endowment of the schools and everything else. And so, I mean, understand, guys, etiquette for when you go in and watch these games. Be informed and be consciously aware that pretty much mostly everybody's there at a youth game is related to somebody.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. So what happens is the word will get back. Sure enough, it won't even be halftime. And and trust me, don't get yourself. It's not
worth it.
It's not.
Jimmy, I'm gonna give you a good one, Jimmy. Jimmy, how about they may be taping you? See, you gotta realize the world we're in now, Jimmy.
I've seen some of those. People send me videos.
Jimmy,
I've seen.
I taped somebody just the other day. I'm gonna have to post it.
Ooh.
It was. Hey man, I don't like to sit this weekend. Hey man, the stuff that you hear in them stands, man.
Hold on, at a scrimmage game?
Yes, sir. I think yeah. Jimmy, it don't matter.
You gonna play it on the Chop Shop?
You know what now? You know what? So, you know what I hate it? Women, y'all know I love y'all, right? But it be mostly y'all.
Come on, man. Them daddies
I'm talking about,
thing.
hold up. In my sphere of influence, the mama bring all her friends and her cousins and all them girls. And boy, them women don't, sometimes dudes might be a little cool. But boy, them women have no filter. Okay, Chris, just come in the stands with me. I'm gonna start Jimmy. My goal this year, I'm gonna start taping the PGWs and we're gonna post them. We got video. We're gonna post them right here. I'm gonna post them right here on the Chop Shop. So y'all better be aware.
PGW of the week.
I'm down with that. Let's make a segment. Let's make a segment and have a PGW of the week.
Okay.
And we get some nominees
every
week. And you guys, the viewers, can help submit some nominees to us.
Send the videos.
Remember, we talked about this topic a year ago. And one of the solutions was if people could only see themselves, then that may be a step forward towards change, toward the betterment. And I understand that if people could only see themselves and hear themselves.
Man, who is Ahmad Day? Jimmy, who is Ahmad Day on the Facebook feed? You see what he said?
Women should be banned from music. I didn't want to say that. I'm not agreeing with that.
Writer, I think, right?
I'm
not agreeing with that. But Jimmy, you
might be talking about his baby mom.
Hey, Jimmy, you are so correct, though, Jimmy. Jimmy, you are so correct. When I was coaching my son and when they were little, Junebug basketball, and I saw a tape of myself. Dude, I changed my I didn't know the expressions I had on my face. I didn't know. I said, I look like that. I said, them damn kids ought to be scared of me. Chris, from that day forward, I told you I got a text, Chris, and all I told, we had a woman referee.
Oh, you know what I do with them? They drive me nuts. Oh,
but
my
this
goodness.
the only tech I ever got, Chris. But I was talking to one of the parents who always mess with me. She was kept talking crazy. And I said, girl, go get on the treadmill. You need to go get on the treadmill, right? And the woman ref gave me a tech. She thought I was talking about her, Jimmy. How about that?
You kind of was on the cool.
No, I wasn't.
Yeah, you can't do that. And can we talk about the women's attire at these games?
What'd you say?
Their attire. Their attire at the games. Attire, the clothes they wear.
You don't like it?
I'm just saying, I'm not a cookie monster like Hatter. What I'm saying is, can we talk about the attire at the games?
Really?
I mean, what's going on? Like, you're not going to the club. Why can't you just put a sweatsuit on? You're going to a basketball event. Why can't you just, you and your girlfriends, put a sweatsuit on?
Jimmy, hey, watch yourself. They had them Lululemon tights on.
Ooh,
them cold sweats. Jimmy,
Sandra caught me looking at one at she caught me looking at one at the Nike camp. We was in LA.
I'm just saying, it's not a.
I said, baby, I'm just trying to figure out what kind it is so I know what kind it is.
I like that one, Jim.
I'm trying to see what brand it is. I know what it is.
That's right.
I just don't understand.
Hey, Chris, I love the way them. Guess what? You got to realize, man, them women might have somewhere else to go after the tournament. They ain't dressing for your nappy head butt to be looking for them.
First of all, I don't have no hair. Second of all, let me tell you this, Hatter. If it costs $15 to get in, we don't call that an entry fee. That's what it costs to get into the club. That's what they go into. I'm just telling you.
Leave them women alone, man.
They to go to the club.
What you want them to look like? Tell me what you want.
Tell Jimmy. Ask Jimmy this question. He's an event operator. Ask him, do college coaches rate event by what? What's the first thing they say when they walk in? Ask Jimmy. He'll tell you.
Well, the first thing they rated by the hospitality room.
Good. Yep. Well, okay. The second thing.
Then they rated by the mamas.
The mamas.
The GLMs. They call it GLM.
What's GLM?
Good looking mamas.
Yeah.
That's what
Hey, let me tell you something.
Hold on. Now let's say this again, because a lot of people may have skipped over people's head. They may not really think that we are joking. Chris, you being a college coach.
Not joking.
A lot of college coaches rate events on what, Chris?
The GLMs, man. Good looking moms.
Good looking mammies.
They be like, there's no talent. You think they talking about players?
No talent. That's exactly that's the terminology.
Yeah, they call it talent. I done heard y'all. Hey, Chris.
And talent. Yeah.
Hey, Chris, it ain't just the coaches. Hey, it's the scouts. It's all of them. It's the event operators. It's all of them.
So that's why I'm telling you, they paying that $15 cover charge. It's not an entry fee. It's a cover charge, Jimmy. Trust me, because that's the way they come dressed at the game.
But Chris, you did not answer my question. Do you expect the women, the mamas, to come in there looking like Jehovah's Witnesses? Tell me with all tent dresses on or broadcloth dress, what you expect for these mamas to have on?
They trying to get a coach to make a phone call because you know the coach like, who mama is that right there?
You didn't answer the question, Chris. Chris,
I may need to get his number. I need to send that kid a text. I'm telling you what they're doing, man.
Chris, you did not answer the question.
Use what the Lord gave you.
What is the proper attire for you? So tell me what you think a woman should wear. Since you wanna dress her up.
I'm not doing it. I'm just saying that you go into a basketball event. What the daddies wear, man? The daddies all got sweats on.
Some of them ain't got no clothes, no way.
Man, I'm just saying, man. You know what I'm talking about. They gonna ask what the mama look like. Ask if she married. They gonna look at the kid and be like, hey man, let me get that kid information. Let me call the mom and let me check on the kid. And then guess what they do? They create chaos. I'm gonna tell you how you know. I got some of my college buddies gonna be mad at me. When you see a school sign a kid from an area, or you see a coach recruiting the area that he's never ever recruited in, you already know something wrong in that area right there. And I've seen dudes get fired over that mess. I said, hold on, man. You guys in what part of the country? What y'all doing recruiting here? Y'all don't ever recruit. You know that no kid from this area is going to school there. Why are y'all here? So do you know Jimmy Hicks? No. Do you know Alan Branch? No. Then hold on. So you guys are recruiting here. You don't know Jimmy Hicks or Alan Branch. I don't know either one of them. Then you know what's going on. I'm telling you, man.
Chris.
Man, I've seen the coach.
Okay.
I've seen the coach offer a young man. This is, I mean, I've seen a lot in the 19 years of covering the Greater Houston area in basketball. But I've actually seen a college coach extend a home visit invite to a family based on the mom, and had barely had seen the kid play. I'm talking about like barely had seen the kid play, like maybe 4 minutes, and he was offering to conduct a home visit. I've seen that happen, and a lot of the parents, Chris, you've been on you're a career 2-decade plus college coach. You've seen this. You've talked to the coach.
I've never done that. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Listen, man. I understand guys trying to have some fun, but when you got to realize, man, these guys are using university funds to do this. I know people have gotten in trouble for this. I know people. How about this? A coach in Wisconsin, Bo Ryan. People, again, it's all about doing your research. Now, they got a new coach. He was the assistant coach. But Bo Ryan was unceremoniously shown the door because he was using university funds to have an affair. He was flying his little joint around everywhere. And, again, hotel rooms, all that stuff. That's what he was doing. And so what I'm saying is you watch some of these coaches, the way they operate, and like, come on, man, do your job, man. Like, and what I was trying to say is, I know we're trying to be funny.
No.
But this is what happens, as Jimmy says, with the word offers.
Okay.
Right? Now you get guys out there just destroying the whole integrity of the game because they're really not recruiting guys, and they're making them think that they are being recruited. They may extend the offer when they really never going to take them. And now you got that mammy, as Jimmy say, running around saying my son's getting recruited. And then at the end of the day, there's really not being recruited. So it makes everybody crazy, and all because some coach wanted a number or something. It's ridiculous. You know if your son can play or can't play.
Hey, Herb.
You know if it's trying to come at your neck or not. Come on now.
Herb said something key. And I wonder if some women on here, y'all tell me, Herb said these women be watching these men too at the events. So if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I want my son to be recruited. Here's the deal. If you know that the coaches are going to do that, and you know they're cookie monsters,
right? You
ain't gonna put no cookies out there for them. When Santa Claus, when it's Christmas, right? And you look at all these old movies, what they do for Santa Claus? They leave some cake for him out there. Come on, man, because they want to leave an extra gift. So these mamas are doing the same thing. They say, hold on, the coach is gonna extend my son a scholarship, but give him a look. He gonna give me a look first, and then he gonna give my son a look. There you go.
Good, Jimmy.
So Chris, as you being a college coach, and you said certain things now, that's what I'm saying. We're not saying things that you done, but things that you.
No, I haven't done that. That's ridiculous.
But things that you know exist. And these are what we're bringing, some of the things we're bringing to light on the Chop Shop today in regard to recruit. And guess what? The purpose of bringing it to light is to help empower you guys on the other side of the bleachers.
Yeah.
So understand, as he just made, this is a very important point. A lot of people are strongly and vastly misled to believe that a certain school is actively recruiting your son simply because the college coach may take a liking to the mom. And
that's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, you're right, Jimmy. Jimmy, think about it, Jimmy. How many times have we seen it, Jimmy?
I've seen it.
You know it when you see it. You know it when you see it.
You know, some coaches ask me all the time. They ask me all the time. This is not used to ask me up until this very day. All the time. When they see the mom, because in my position, I provide intel to the college coaches. Intel on your kids out there and you and the families to help their recruiting efforts to expedite the process. That's the purpose of them paying me for intel. Whether they get your kid or not, they're paying an annual fee. Now, here's the deal. Part of that intel is for me to let that coach know if the kid if both parents live together, because that way it helps the coach if he knows who he has to call, because some coaches are going to call the dad out of respect and say, hey, Mr. So-and-so, out of respect, because they've been talking to the mother and the mother's living, and that's respectful. So you guys can understand this. A lot of coaches don't know because
They
a lot of they don't know at coming into when if the mom is single, if the mom is estranged, if she's widowed, if her marital status.
Why does it matter?
Yeah,
no, why
does
it matter? You're recruiting. Of course it matters.
Okay.
What do you mean, why does it matter?
Okay.
If you think about this, your situation, I think you were divorced when Lil Robert was coming along. Now, think about a guy coming at you. I don't, man, you know better than me what that exact situation is. Coming at Lil Robert and not knowing y'all situation and only talking to the mom and never talking to Robert Sr.
Guess what?
Come on, man.
It was all right. Guess what? It ain't no problem. He didn't get talked to. He didn't go to that school.
My point is, but my point is, your job is to assess the situation,
right?
Figure out, as I call it, the champion in the room. When we assess the situation, we look at all parties involved. I tell people all the time, life is about influence and importance. Just because somebody's important to you doesn't mean they have influence over you. So what a college coach did, he said, look at all the people that are important in this kid's life, all right? And there's all those different people may think they have influence. But as Jimmy knows, sometimes the influence may be the girlfriend. Sometimes the influence may be the dude that's riding with him in the car. And the daddy think he got all the power. The coach's job is to find the champion. Not to find it, he tried to find a champion in the room that's going to get that ball over the goal line.
You know, that's the first time you ever said something and I took a note of it. I just actually took a note of what you just said. Because guess what? I'm going to use that one. I'm telling you.
I'm just telling you.
Oh, Chris, we have on the Boomer Room, Freightman has a question for you, Chris Walker. He said, who's the biggest cookie monster among the college coaches?
Chris, I can't add. I know a few too.
And you know what? You know the person who just as equipped as you are to answer that question. Freight, but Freight don't like to put, Freight Jim, Freight one of Jim is whatever. Whatever. But he didn't put that Jimmy no more than you.
Oh no. Jimmy definitely knows more than me, but I definitely know some Chips Ahoy. I know some Chips Ahoy's out there.
Jimmy, yes you do. Yes, you do.
Hey, there are a lot of them out there, and there's a lot of undercover. There's a lot of undercover cookie monsters. So I'm just saying, at the end of the day, they ain't hard to find now. And Jimmy, let me give you a quick one, Jimmy. It ain't just the single ones either. Don't get it twisted.
What?
Come on, man. Y'all need to stop what I'm talking about, Jimmy.
Hold on, Chris. Wait a minute, Chris. What are you saying? So you're saying that that there has been college coaches that have went and ate the cookies of a married mama. That's what you're saying, a married mama.
No, I'm saying vice versa. Listen, man, let me tell y'all something. Can you have fire without heat? I'm just telling y'all, man.
I like that.
You can't have fire without heat, man. These dudes out there bringing that noise, man. And so what I'm saying is do the right thing, right? Recruit kids because they're good enough. And the problem is, I know college coaches that have been in relationships, right? And they may have been single, even if the college coach is single. The mom could have been estranged. The coach and the mom end up getting together. I know a couple of situations that are real close to the Lone Star State where the coach ends up dating somebody that he's recruiting the kid. Problematic, man. But it's human beings, man. You put human beings in a room, stuff is gonna happen, man.
Okay.
That's just how it works.
Okay.
You put human beings in a room, stuff is gonna happen.
That's a great point.
But it's not a good practice. And the reason why we're talking about stuff is good because you know what tomorrow is? Tomorrow's National Signing Day. Am I not correct, Jimmy?
That's right.
That's right.
And National Signing Day, explain that to a lot of the viewers what that means for the national letters of intent and how that process works to make it official. Chris, you being the college coach.
So obviously they get the letter of intent, which I encourage none of them to sign. Letter of intent and scholarship papers, grant and aid papers. Most kids probably already have them already. They'll be signing that tomorrow. Some kids will have signing parties. Most kids have already signed and they just haven't put that information out there yet. But the letter of intent binds you to the school and the grant and aid papers binds the school to you. So you can actually not sign the letter of intent and still be signed and the school has to honor it. But you can be put in a trick bag if you don't sign that letter of intent, if you get hurt, or if they decide they want someone else you're in trouble. So although I forget his name, Ramogi was his name. Ramogi came on.
Yeah.
What is the deal that Ramogi said? That, you know what? We need to, Jimmy. We probably should grab him on a call tomorrow or the next couple of days and find out how many people that he's sending that cap. What's it called? The cap deal?
Yeah.
How many kids he sent that out to in college basketball, and see how many kids are utilizing that. But tomorrow's a very special date. I think they get 7 days to make it official. And they actually created the early signing period because college coaches were upset that they had to recruit all year long and they could not concentrate on their season. So a lot of kids sign early and try to get it out of the way. It's a shame to say get it out of the way because college coaches, coach speak says, hey, the next 4 years will decide the next 40 years. And some kids are better served to wait to the late period. You sign with a school where coach has 1 year left on his contract, right? That has nothing to do with you. You sign with a coach that may be hot and he may end up leaving. Sometimes it's best to let this period pass. But if you're a kid that's not that good, or I should say not that good, if you're on the borderline and you don't know if you're going to get that extra look, or you don't know if you have a bunch of people looking at you, because you got to realize most colleges don't get out during the school year because their season runs concurrently. Sign that letter of intent and sign those scholarship papers and go and lock your spot in. But if you want to bet on yourself like Dak Prescott and say, you know what, I think I deserve better, I think I can get a higher look, then, pass that early signing period and wait till the late signing period. Because best believe with that transfer portal out there, there are going to be people looking for people in the spring. Trust me when I tell you that, because what they're going to walk in and do is tell people. I was with a guy the other day who played baseball, and he said this because this is probably what somebody said to Hatter when he was in college. They would say, Robert Hatter, I promised your folks I was going to graduate you, but you ain't never getting on that floor again. So you can stay here and get this degree, or you can get the hell up out of here. And what do they do every single time? They leave. Am I lying, Jimmy? They leave every single time. That's called the runoff. That's the runoff rule that they instituted. So, but kids will leave because kids want to play. Kids will leave Stanford because they want to play. Well, maybe not Stanford, but kids will leave any school because they want to play. I got so many stories I love to tell, but if I tell them, people will know who I'm talking about. I can't tell them, Jimmy.
No, they won't.
They will know. I mean, I got
so many
stories.
Don't go there, Chris. Jimmy loves this.
I got juicy stories about people that, and again, not like, they're intimate stories about decisions that are made. And I'm like, but do you understand that what you're doing, it's hard. I really want to say stuff, but at the end of the day,
names are changed to protect the innocent. So the names you can
But Jimmy, you and Hatter knows stories too. Just like Hatter knows stuff on the agent side, that he just sit there and be like, for instance, Hatter, hold up, maybe for a second, we'll come back to that. Okay. Tell the story of Rich Paul and the kid, what's his name?
Rich Paul was a cookie monster?
No. I'm talking about people making decisions. Marquise Morris. Tell the story about Marquise Morris and the other kid that played for Kentucky that had the $72 million, and he told him not to. What's the kid's name that played for the Mavericks? Got drafted by the Mavericks. Nerlens Noel.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, he advised him. He just advised them. He just advised them not to take the money. What he did, he just thought. I guess he thought Nerlens Noel. He overpriced the market for the kid. That's what I would say. I wouldn't say. I mean, you got to understand when you're dealing with LeBron, and you got all of this other stuff going, and Ben Simmons. Nerlens Noel and Marquise Morris might get lost in the shuffle. Chris Walker. I'm just telling the truth. Because he's saying, because if LeBron called him, he got to stop and go see what LeBron wants. You follow me? If a Ben Simmons called, so Nerlens and Marquise Morris, he just didn't spend enough time researching the market on them. I'm going to just put it like that. He didn't spend a lot of time, he didn't spend a lot of time researching the market on him, Chris.
And they fired him, right? They fired him.
And they fired him. And again, it cost them guys money, and they fired him. So, yeah, that happens.
So my point is, when it comes to high school, you really got to assess what's your value. College coaches want to get recruiting over with. They want to sign kids, but best believe, if they don't sign someone early, they're going to sign someone late. And you're on a pecking order. that you're not the only kid they're recruiting. If they don't get you, they're going to get the next guy. Like, again, I'm not a coach anymore, but it's shedding light. That's what the Chop Shop does. We're shedding light. And a lot of kids, here's the other thing, the kicker, Hatter. There are a lot of kids that are not going to sign a scholarship. So think about it. If there's only just say Division I, there's 1,350 Division I scholarships that'll probably be signed this year. Of freshmen, not even freshmen, it'll be less than that because JUCO kids will take some scholarships for some kids in the late period, and so will transfers. Let's say maybe 900 kids will get scholarships, and most lion's share of the kids sign in the early signing period. The question is, Jimmy, and let's just keep it at home with RCS Sports.
Okay.
How many kids do you have ranked right now? If someone goes to RCS Sports' page, how many kids are ranked? Do you do top 100, top 150, top 200?
Different parts of the year. When the magazine comes out, we stretch it to 100 for the seniors. For the juniors, it's around.
Let's not count the juniors because they can't sign. They can't sign here. So you're saying that's 100.
100 for this time of the year because this is maximum premium time. Correct. And as the season goes, by the time the spring comes, it'll be back down to 50, but we stretch it all the way out, because it's the high school. All right,
so for signing day, let's say tomorrow signing day, you got 100 kids ranked. How many are going to sign tomorrow out of the city of Houston?
About 22, 23 till tomorrow. Okay. And that's counting everything. Remember, the non-Division I schools are able to sign letters of intent tomorrow as well. So there's about two, maybe three young men in the area whom I know are signing non-Division I. I know one young man is over at Summer Creek High School. Another young man is over at Memorial High School. You have two guys from the same team at Shadow Creek. So that's four off the top of my head. And so there may be, I would just say, a half dozen. So probably about 25, Chris, total signees tomorrow. Division I's, Division II's, Division III's combined.
All right. So as we always say, nothing wrong, no shame on shining Division II and Division III because that's, again, when they do the financial aid, that's free school too. The goal is to be Division I. Everybody's goal. No one starts off in the 9th grade and say, you know what? I want to be a Division II player when I get to be a senior. They all want to be Division I. No player says, you know what, man? You know what your dream is? What's your dream, dog? Man, I want to play in the G League for the Skyhawks. They don't say that, right? So you said you got 100 guys ranked, and maybe 20 are going to sign Division I scholarships. Maybe another 5. We're talking about seniors will sign in the late period. What do you tell the other 80? That is a question. If you had advice for the other 80 parents, now, given the average, you say 20, 30 every year. What do you tell the other 70 parents that are in the top 100? Forget about those 70. What do you tell the other ones that are not in the top 100?
Well, first you have to break it down in the layers, in the range, and the range game is what helps keep some of this stuff sane to explain to people. The range meaning that if the facts are the facts, and that is, around the approximate range of D1 signees from the greater Houston area is somewhere in over the past, let's say the past 5 years running. I'm not going to go back 20 years, but the past 5 years running is somewhere around between 28 to 32 in that window of 4, right? So here's the deal. That means if you in the top 40, those people think they got anywhere from 30 to 40 think they have a chance, and they rightfully so may have a chance, depending on what they do during their high school season. If you're from 41 to 50, you got a snowball's chance, and it's about to be summer. So then that means if you're below number 50, then you're not a Division I prospect as a 12th grader. In an area. I'm not talking about below the 50 in the nation. No, I'm not talking about below 50 in the state of Texas. I'm talking about in Greater Houston or in DFW. If you're ranked below number 50 as a 12th grader, then you're not a Division I prospect.
Wow.
And chances are you have no offers at the time that you're ranked number 50.
So let me ask you a question.
Look.
So if that's the case, because we're speaking truth here, because we're trying to help people. If you're telling them that you're not a division, so obviously there's some people that are going to be like, Jimmy don't know what he's talking about, right? Because you went to a deal in Angleton the other day and only 20 parents. Mm-hmm. So those parents already, they lost. Mm-hmm. Because Johnny gonna score 25 versus Summer Creek or something, and everybody gonna think he's a Division I player, and they don't understand it doesn't work like that. The question is, what do you tell the high school coaches who are coaching these kids? Is there any accountability to Coach Woods, who gonna let Bryce Griggs shoot every time he touch it until his arm fall off, and them other parents gonna be like, well, my son a Division I player. What is Stephen Woods supposed to tell them number 6 through 10 on his team that are seniors that think they're Division I players? What's he supposed to tell them when Bryce Griggs is the dude? I'm asking you. What's he supposed to say?
You're asking me what is
because they thinking that because Hightower is good, that means they should get a scholarship. Remember the team that won state a couple of years ago? They went to state. There was some little team that was really good, and they was like a little outlier. And those people actually thought they were going to get Division I scholarships because they went to state.
It happened 3 years in a row.
Right. Well, what team? Explain that to people.
Clear Lake went, and that was 1 year. Then what was the other team? Elkins was another team that Elkins went from the area, and they were dominating. And people thought just because those kids won at the high school level that they automatically was supposed to be D1. And guess what? It may be so in a couple of years later. Everybody is not recruiting your kid for what he can be tomorrow. A lot of people are recruiting kids for what they need at that particular time. And that's the thing. And those are questions that a lot of people fail to ask the college coaches and refuse to understand. It's about understand. I'm looking at this morning. Doug Jones published on RCS Sports. He published a list of the freshmen and at the D1 level and how they fared since the beginning of the college season. So this list included walk-ons. So it looks like it's a long list with approximately 30 names or so. But it included walk-ons, and it also included red shirts from a year ago. And I was looking, and I saw, well, we talked about Kyrie McDaniel last week when Slim was on there. And Slim is from Kashmir. So, I mean, he went to Nimitz for a little while. But last season, Kyrie McDaniel led Klein Forest to the state championship, right? Duncanville won it, but he earned a Division I scholarship offer after signing with a D2 school in Oklahoma. He had to get a release from the coach in order to go to SFA. Now, mind you, we explained the reasons, but in the first game, Kyrie barely played. So he's played 2 games now, right? So after his second game, I'm looking at his average. He's averaging 1.5 minutes a game. This was the guy, and the people will say, well, why are you talking about Kyrie? Well, here's the thing that comes with it. You said it earlier at the top of the show. When you've been anointed in a certain place, meaning he was the Guy V. Lewis Award winner.
Is that the City Player of the Year?
That's the Player of the Year after the season is over with, right? So if you're the Guy V. Lewis Player of the Year, so that you guys understand, put this in perspective, some of the past winners. This thing started in 2012. Rashid Suleiman was the first one. Then Aaron Harrison. Then Justice Winslow. Then Galen Robinson. Then De'Aaron Fox. You see where I'm going? These are the past winners. Quentin Grimes won it, I think, in 2008 or 17, whenever that was. So understand, that means expectations based on the president. We expect to see, okay, well, dang, you went to this school, this D1, and man, you're playing 1 minute and a half. Not wrong with that. But if you're the Player of the Year,
Perspective, man.
More than that.
Hey, let me read what Stephon Leary says. Stephon, tell the other 70 others, focus on finding a place to get a good quality education that will give you the best financial offer and the opportunity to play college basketball at whatever level. Here's the problem with that. Tell me the high school coach or the summer coach that's pushing that initiative. Now, Stephon may be doing it, right, Jimmy? Hatter, who was the AAU coach? You always give Alan Branch credit. But who was the coaches when your son was coming up all them years saying, Hatter, man, I think your son got a chance, but hey, man, you ever think about him going to Colgate? You ever think about him going to school at University of San Diego? You ever thought about one of the schools in the UC system, or maybe going to school at one of these unbelievable, like Sanford, places that people don't have a great education, but may not be big basketball schools, or going to Ivy League school? People don't come at you like that, right? Like that, Hatter. So how would a parent know if you're in the 70, the 70 is a little high, the 50 and under range, that other part is available to you? How would they know? Because no one's talking about that, right or wrong?
No one's never asked me about it, and rightfully so. I got a different situation. I mean, I had a plan already, so they knew not to come to me with that. But I never heard it. But it's a new day, Chris, because every time I meet a young coach, every time I meet a parent, I just give them and tell them my story. That's all I can go by, and just say, look, it's other options out there. And it's not like I'm just telling them. I've lived it. And if you're, and all I say, Chris, and parents, remember I told you this. The Ivy League might not be for your son. You got to be a heck of a kid in that classroom, and you got to work. You got to get up early in the morning, just like they do at Kentucky, just like they do at Cal. They got to do everything those other programs do. I mean, and guess what? Where in Kentucky, on Monday or Tuesday, they don't have to be back in class, some of them players. At Cornell, you got to be in class on Monday. No matter what. That's why Chris, I don't know if you know this, that's why doing conference season, everybody go by bus. Because they don't want to hear about your plane not making it back Sunday night so you can have your butt in class on Monday morning.
Hey, Hatter, I'm going to even tell you this, Hatter. Huh? I don't know if they still do it. You would know better than me, but the Ivy League was famous for back-to-backs. They played Friday and Saturday, so it was never a class conflict. I don't know if they do that anymore.
They do that, yes. Yeah,
Friday, Saturday,
Friday,
every
Saturday.
Friday,
That's
Saturday.
it. Now during the holiday season, when they're not in school, you know, and then they have this long Christmas break, and then they have this, and the Ivies, they have this blackout period where you can't do nothing, because guess why? You're studying for your finals. So no, Jimmy, no nothing can be played.
That's right.
They don't. It's a different atmosphere. That's why I say your kid got to be a great basketball player, a great football player, but he got to be able to balance that classroom. It's almost unbelievable.
And here's my thing, Jimmy, and I want to throw this back to Jimmy again. If you're in that 50, I don't even say 50, 40, you got a chance. But if you're 30 and below, in my opinion, right, you have to make sure, parents, that you in the books. If we could go back every year that Jimmy just mentioned and talk about number 50 to 100 in every last one of those years in the last 10 years, and see where they are right now, and see how many of them said Jimmy don't know what he's talking about, and proved them wrong and played Division I, right? And proved them wrong and said, you know what, I'm gonna go Division I. It don't matter what my grades are. If in the city of Houston, if we had a movement the way Jimmy's talking about winning an election, and every kid 50 and under says, you know what, I'm gonna make sure I get straight A's and I get a chance to play Division II, I guarantee you the city of Houston will be on a movement that people have never seen before, because we got so many athletes that don't get an opportunity, not because they can't play, Hatter, it's because their grades aren't good. Did y'all hear what I just said?
Good.
There are so many people missing opportunities, not because of their ability. Great. It's because of their acumen.
got to write
Jimmy,
that
am I
down.
right or wrong?
I got to write that one down.
I mean, that's a great point. And the thing is, by the time, remember, we were talking about as a senior. Well, hell, by the time we're talking about this being established and identified to interpret your level of recruitment in a local rankings or regional rankings list as a 12th grader, hell, for some, it's too late to reverse the course of their academic direction. For some, because only that ain't but a half semester left on their transcript so to complete it. So,
Right.
so that means to that part would be out the window, would be mute.
Jimmy, that's why I always say talk about the 9th grade. You remember what I said when I dropped my kid? That's why I'm just trying to plant a seed, because we got some 8th graders parents out here.
But they all think they're going D1 in the 9th grade.
No. I'm saying plant a seed for academic success, academic acumen, academic. I told my son whatever he do in these next 2 million minutes is going to determine how he live the rest of his life. He knew it wasn't about no basketball when I dropped him off. This was about go be the best student you can be. Because guess what, Jimmy, you said you eliminate the excuse. If so-and-so might want me, but I can't go there, you eliminate, if you got your grades together, you eliminated the excuse for them not to give you a scholarship or for you not to be able to attend that college. That's all I'm saying. That's why I said 9th grade is important.
It had to go a step further, Jimmy, 2 points. Operate, I would tell every parent, operate like your son will never get a scholarship. I don't care how good he is a player. Operate like he would never get an athletic scholarship. Even though you can still pay for all the training you want, you can still go to Vegas, you can do all that other stuff. But remember, he's a student athlete. He's still going to school. So why only strive to be the best in the athletic part and not strive to be the best in the academic part? Not knowing that the academic part is going to be more beneficial to you in the future than the athletic part. So strive like he's never going to be a player. And if you run into a situation where he doesn't get a scholarship, you're going to be all right because he got great grades.
That's right.
The same way Addison, you already, it's the same way when you go to the circus. When I recruit, I give people this analogy all the time. When you see that person on the high wire act, you're going like, oh my God, that dude is walking across that wire. But then you look below him, it's a net. and you see a net.
Yeah.
Now, if you look below him and there was no net there, what would you say? You'd be like, that fool is crazy. But oh my God, that's still an incredible feat. If the net was there, it would still be an incredible feat. But guess what? You'd be like, but I understand why that net is there.
Yeah. Just in case.
Just in case, a fly in his mouth or something, or anything happen. Yeah. It's still incredible. But you know what we want to do? We want the dude to walk up there and have no net below him. That's what we want him to do. That's what you're doing when you don't make sure your kids have great grades. He could tear his ACL. He could tear his Achilles. He could not grow. The coach could hate on him like some of you high schools, transfer him 7 times because the coach ain't no good. All these different excuses. But guess what will save you at the end of the day? That net. Those grades will save you every single time. No matter if it tears his Achilles, no matter if the coach ain't cool, no matter if the kids on the team is selfish. If he got them grades, it don't matter. He's safe. Go on, Jim.
Wow. So now we have a question. The Angel asked, so this leads to a question. Are summer coaches for that age group, that 8th grade, right, talking about academics going into high school, or are folks just talking about making varsity and playing up? Chris?
Whoa. Say it again now.
He says, we were talking about 8th graders / 9th graders. So he's asking, so are the summer coaches of those 8th graders that are going into high school, are they talking about academics of that magnitude?
They should. They should. I mean, here's the deal, man. Guys, we talked about this before. And I don't want to beat a dead horse and talk about what happened in Angleton. And I don't know if Jimmy expressed on the show what happened, but we have to call people out. When we provide a service, or when coaches provide a service, as much as we jump on coaches about not doing anything outside of their job description, and they go out of their way to try to educate, and people don't want to be a part of it. but they will jump their butt on a plane to go see a tournament and go see a game, or they'll pay a trainer $90 million. And when people who actually know the truth try to help them, and it's free, right, Jimmy? It was free. And they don't participate. How do you feel sorry for them? So when you have AAU coaches, they're in the same bucket. It's your job. If you want to coach kids and grandstand in front of college coaches, why wouldn't you want to know? You got dudes like Herb out there coaching, who coaching college, who understand stuff. Stephon Leary. You got guys that are coaches that understand what's going on. Why wouldn't you want to know? You got TJ. We got one thing about Houston. Houston is blessed with a lot of people. Everybody in the Houston Hoops organization, they would know. You got Aaron Harrison has had players. Like Rick Nelson has had players. Marlon Lowe, Rossi Karen. In Houston, you blessed in Houston. But at the same time, guess what? It don't change what, Jimmy? 20 to 25, guys. That's all that's going. So even those guys need to be educating parents. If you're the sixth man on your summer basketball team, it's probably a problem, right? You're probably not going to get a scholarship if you're not one of the best players on your summer basketball team. If you're the third leading scorer on your high school team and you're senior,
not the D1 scholarship.
Not the D1 scholarship. And again, but Jimmy, if you don't have good grades, you're not getting Division II and Division III scholarships. That's what I'm saying. The Division II and Division III is all about academics, guys. It's all about academics, period, because you need to get financial aid. Am I right, Jimmy? Because your financial aid is tied to your academic prowess. Am I right or wrong?
Based on your family's income, yes, it is tied to it. And that's where we are right now. See, one of the things I love about just tuning into the Chop Shop, welcome today. And if you're on it right now, take out the time to share the show right now to your timelines or with your friends, because this is some very important intel. I love the early signing period, which starts tomorrow, right? Wednesday, November the 13th. Well, one of the reasons why is because it adds a much needed dose of reality to those who have been dwelling in an unrealistic recruiting state over the past 5-6 months or so. And we're talking about 12th graders and the parents and the families, meaning that listen, man, and you mentioned Angleton. This past Sunday, as every year, I go down to Angleton, I speak to the coaches, the high school coaches in Brazoria County are present, and they're there introducing themselves to the parents and letting them know what style of play they're playing and this and that, expectations. And I normally speak at the end for the past, 4 years. Well, this past Sunday is always on a Sunday afternoon. And this year when they picked the date, they knew that the Houston Texans was on a bye week. So, and it was always like 3 o'clock and below, but it was only about 20 people there, right? And 5 high school coaches were represented. And so I started thinking, I'm like, well, hell, if each of those coaches made it stressed that at least 10 parents showed up, that would have been a room full. That would have been 40. And so now let's fast forward through this thing. And reason I like one of the parents, after I got through speaking, one of the parents may be watching right now. He came to me and mentioned he had some kid that used to play and he moved away and he has an offer. And I say, from where? He says, Oklahoma. I say, well, okay. What do you mean? Northeastern Oklahoma, Southeast Oklahoma, North Oklahoma? No, OU. I say, in what sport? He say, in basketball. I mean, see, here's the thing, and I'm trying to, and I sit there and say, well, he couldn't think of the kid name. Well, he knew the kid name, but I said, why don't you text me the kid name so that I can clarify that. Are you sure? I say, well, he said, yeah, he had 3 offers, 3 D1 offers. And he asked his son to co-sign it, and every son going to say, the son probably knew dad was going to take him to McDonald's or something after the workshop. And the son said, yeah. I said, well, tell me this. So that means on Wednesday, he's going to be signing with one of those schools. Me personally, the name, I've never heard of the kid in my life. But this is what happens.
Jimmy,
When
I was at Cal Berkeley, and a kid showed up with his dad to the office and says, "My son signed a scholarship here. Where's the coaches at? We want to get our stuff."
You lying.
Listen, on my mom's life, a kid walked in. Listen, guys, I'm telling y'all what's going on. The kid had convinced his dad that he got a scholarship to Cal and brought him up to the school. And the kid was like, "Well, can I meet one of the coaches? I'm here to get my stuff because I got a scholarship to play basketball. I'm gonna be on the team."
Really?
And the dad was upset. He was like, "Hold on, I just drove my son all the way up here 2 hours. Where's the coach? We supposed to get our stuff. He's on the team." And people don't understand the ignorance that's out there. And here's what I'm going to say, being an African-American male in the educational sector, because I've been a college coach at higher level in higher level academics, not just athletics, guys. I've worked at Vanderbilt and Villanova and Pepperdine. I've worked at high level schools at Berkeley. And as a person of color, it bothers me. I've probably sat in 1,000 homes giving my sales pitch about why you should want to get a great education so you can be employable one day and you can change the social economic status in your neighborhoods that are being underserved and underrepresented. And if I see one more black person that doesn't understand the value of education and only stress in athletics, it's gonna break my heart. I'm gonna be honest with you, Hatter. I see it all the time. And we wanna blame everybody else, Hatter. Yeah, there's systemic racism, yes. Yes, we have underperforming schools. Yes, it starts at home. If we value football and we value buying equipment and KDs, that's what the kids are going to value. Am I right or wrong, Hatter?
You're right.
We don't value education, Jimmy. I mean, I'm gonna put it out there. Maybe everybody on the Facebook feed
until it's too
late. Right, but we'll sit up there and say, "Well, we got to make sure he gets good grade. Get good grade." I remember saying that one parent, "Well, my son gets good grades." I said, "Well, what kind of grades he got?" "He gets C's and B's." I'm like, "C's and B's?" I said, "What'll happen if you got C's and B's at your job?" But they think C's and B's is good because it was better than what they did. I'm just telling you. People only, and listen, man, people live, sometimes I grew up in Rosewood, Texas. Rosewood, and sometimes the sphere of your influence or the sphere of your life is only as far as you can walk. Am I right, Jimmy? Sometimes people only know as far as they can walk. And if you live in a household where education is not, think about the people that grew up back in the day and couldn't have education. They didn't want us to read and write. We came from we're a part of a culture that people did not want us to read and write because they didn't want us to know our value. And now we're in a situation where we can get free reading and writing at the highest level. And guess what? We don't know how to, we don't know the value of it. I'm going to leave it at that. That's all I got to say.
So, man, I mean, as you guys see now, we go to the Boom Boom Room and address some of the comments on here. And you guys know, Todd says bango. And of course, and Anthony Forbes say, my advice to parents, never take advice from people you are paying.
No, that's not good advice.
That's not good advice.
That's not good, Bob. That's terrible advice.
Explain them why.
Because professors, you pay professionals. If you pay professionals, you have to pay professionals for advice. I think I know what he's saying, but that's not good advice. Because if you come to me, if you need a contract advisor, you got to pay me. But my job is to give you correct advice. So that's not good. That's just not good. I mean, I don't know why that's why, Jimmy, I saw that comment and I wanted to hide the comment.
No, but that's why we're addressing the comment right now. So that way, and that was the reason we're addressing it. And so
you do take advice from qualified people.
Hatter, like you told me, Hatter, if you go into a murder case, you're not going to take advice from the lawyer? You're going to represent yourself?
No, like I told somebody the other day, because they said, well, I can just get so-and-so. I can do so-and-so could do my contract. I could do this. I said, I tell you what, if you had brain surgery, right? Chris Walker was the greatest brain surgeon that on the planet. Jimmy just your family practitioner doctor. You know, he can tell you the hiccups but guess what? I'm gonna get Jimmy to do my brain surgery. Your ass gonna be dead. You better go get the best to do your stuff. That's what I try to say. So what I hope that he was trying to say that these guys around here who give you advice and you paying them, they're not qualified. I hope that's what he's saying, because you do, if you paying somebody, and I hope you paying them for the correct advice. That's what I hope he's talking about.
And of course, Stephen Woods we're going in the Boomer Room and addressing some of the comments that you guys may have missed on your timelines. And Stephen Woods says, open house, no parents show up.
Right.
Football, basketball game, a full house. What message are you sending to the kids?
People like to be entertained. I mean, guess what?
Hey, Hatter, keep it to our people, Hatter. People that look like us on this
Our
show right now.
people like to be entertained. Jimmy, I passed by the other day. I just so happened to go to the car wash, and I messed around and passed by the Reliance Center.
Mm-hmm. Astroworld?
Yes. They had reconfigured this whole area. You know, they just reconfigured this place and turned it into Astroworld. And you can't imagine how many people were out there. People standing in line to get that done. Our people too. Black people. I don't say people of color. And by the way, Chris, Anthony Weston, correct you again. Address us as people of. Don't address us as people of color. You black. So you black. So address yourself as black. So, but Jimmy, I'm sitting there watching that. Jimmy, I've never seen so many police officers in my life. And I'm sitting there saying, what the hell is going on? And found out that's what these people were standing in line for hours to see Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, yeah.
And them. And Travis Scott ain't going to get you no grades. He ain't going to help you get it. I mean, nothing against Travis. Get your money.
You just say people like to be entertained.
We love to be entertained. That's why we show up at the games. I'm sorry.
And that's why we show up at Travis Scott in droves. We understand that's not changing no time soon. What we're saying is, and what we're trying to do is raise the conscious awareness about the importance of the academic component within student athletes. So what about the parent? And during this conversation, something was addressed, and Chris, you mentioned it a while ago. Parents think that C's and B's are good because that's better than what they did when they were in school. And here's the thing. A lot of parents don't understand this stuff is intimidating. This qualifying and sliding scale. I've had many parents tell me and confess to me, it's intimidating for those that don't know how to interpret that properly. So what does the parent, we have to find a way to make this stuff sound a little bit more sexier than as opposed to scaring folks.
Jimmy, let me ask you a question. Is buying a house intimidating?
Very.
So some is.
Is buying a car intimidating?
If your credit is jacked up, it
right. No. Signing all that paperwork. Signing if you're getting a loan, signing that paperwork. Yeah, that's in it. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But you know what? People figure it out because they don't walk around homeless, right? And they figure it out in Houston because we don't have mass transit and you got to get in the car and drive somewhere. But yet when it comes to your most prized possession, right? Your most prized commodity, all the information that Jimmy Hicks just talked about is FREE. If you just read it, it's free. But you know what, Jimmy? It's not about it being free. You know what they say to people? When you give stuff people free, they don't care about it. If they don't pay for it, they don't put their money into it, they don't have the same interest. So guess what we put our money into? Kevin Durant's and LeBron's, flying to Vegas, paying the entry fee at the games. That's what we put our money into. You know what we don't put our money into? It's tutoring, SAT testing. We don't put our money in that. Taking our kids to DC to see the African American monument. You know what I'm saying, Hatter? We don't put our money into that. So we put our money in stuff that we care about. But all the information, Jimmy, you just mentioned is free. If you care about looking for it, you can find out that the C's and B's don't help.
You know what?
Come on, man.
I had a coach, a college coach, tell me this about a year or two ago. He said, at some point, you have to realize that a lot of people may know that they're thirsty and they need a good drink of water, but they're just not going to put their cup under your faucet. And that woke me up to a different whole ideology of the way I approach this stuff, because it's true. Because my thing was, I thought along the lines of back in the days when they had a water fountain for certain people and another water fountain for other people. And I figured, I'd be damned, that other water fountain got broke and it didn't, and that person was thirsty enough, they'll run their ass to our water fountain. I bet you they'll get some water if they was thirsty enough. That was the thing. But then some people would rather, in today's society, there are people that would rather go die of thirst than to drink out your fountain. And it's showing by the acts of many in our society, many of the political acts and the right-wing folks and the nationalists. But back to this conversation, guys, we can give it all day. But you guys that are listening right now and watching right now have the capacity and the power to relay that info, all the video, and plant it into somebody else that may need it. And now, I mentioned earlier, a lot of people don't, that we mentioned about the intimidation part. So if summer coaches, Chris, if there's a way to help inform some of the summer coaches, and here's the thing that I thought about, you just can't call it a workshop no more, that the odds are against people going to show up. If you call it a workshop, then that means work. That means the people that show up is admitting that they don't know. And a lot of people out there who are in positions of influence over families and kids want them to believe that they know every damn thing about recruiting because you were fortunate enough to have 1 or 2 or 10 or 20 to go Division I. If all your kids went Division I the right way, then how the hell are you qualified to talk about getting a bag? Think about what I'm saying. If you were a summer coach and most of your dealings were required upon getting a bag, then how the hell are you going to know about getting it the right way? If most of your kids were supreme athletes, Chris, and you coached all your life at the Division I level, then Chris is smart enough to know where to stop at when talking about D2s and D3s. He'll go and he'll give you something and he'll stop right there, because that means a guy like Stephon Leary, who was a Division I coach. I met Stephon Leary, he's at Liberty. He was a head coach at Florida Gulf Coast. Most of his kids in the Shooting Stars program go to the non-Division I schools. So guess what happens? That means I would expect for a guy like Stephon Leary to have a plethora of, just a buffet of non-Division I coaches on speed dial. I don't. You see, that's the thing. You got to understand that most people won't admit. Everybody try to make themselves seem appear to be the burger cooker, the fry dropper, and the cashier in the restaurant.
Crazy, man. Hey, let's pivot for a second, man. We like I said, we can beat that dead horse. We talked about it's good because it's signing period, but you know Hatter gonna get mad at me, but I gotta talk about Mufasa. He hates when I start talking about the Lion King. That's King James. I'm the bronze sexual of the group. And he makes a comment about load management and he says AAU basketball is the problem. And I'd like to get your thoughts on that, Jimmy, because obviously educate people on the rules that have changed. We touched on it a little bit about yesterday about the live period, but that's high school. That has nothing to do with starting to play basketball in the third grade or the fourth grade or the fifth. When I was a kid, we didn't do that stuff when we were kids. We didn't play basketball. We were that. First of all, when we were that young, we played every sport. That's number one.
Yep.
And a lot of these guys are getting hurt because of sport-specific injuries because they're only using the same muscles all the time. So what are your thoughts on is LeBron right? Because he's in the space now. His son has played basketball for Clyde. Is it Clyde Jackson? Right there in Houston. Yeah. And so he's been a part of the AAU basketball. He played AAU basketball. And he's just a freak of nature that's been able to play 17 years and only have one injury. But is this load management thing something we really need to be thinking about at the lower levels, Hatter and Jimmy?
Hatter,
go, Jim.
Well, I read what LeBron, I read his comments, and then I read them again. And sometimes that's what you have to do. You have to read something and read it again to let it saturate. I understand where LeBron is coming from because initially, the first time I read it, it sounded very hypocritical for a guy who grew up playing a multitude of summer ball games. But when LeBron was 17 years old, LeBron wasn't in control of that. He was a product of a single parent household. So a lot of the men who were in youth basketball, in grassroots basketball, served somewhat as father figures, whether it be the uncle figure, the cousin, Sonny Vaccaro on Adidas side at the time, and the Chris Rivers and then Drew Joyce was his head coach at St. Vincent St. Mary's in Akron, Ohio. Those guys were right there. Then you had Eddie, the stepfather, who had to go sit down and went on vacation for a few years. But my point is this. At this comment, I'm going to advise you guys this. These comments, I think, are mostly applied to about the load management in youth basketball to those pre-high school teams. When they get around the 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, I'm really believe that because there are things in place. There's nothing to govern how many games they can play in one day right now as it stands. There are measures that the NCAA has taken, and they restrict the amount of games that you can play in a certified event. And there are only 3 or 4 weekends of those per summer. That means you can't play. It used to be, they just changed that again this year. But it used to be, before the last 4 or 5 years, was you couldn't play no more than 5 games in any 2 days, no more than 3 games in 1 day.
Jimmy, think about what you just said, Jimmy. And a lot of kids get hurt by this, Hatter. Hatter, you had a son that played summer basketball. Mm-hmm. And now I coached when there was no limit. I think they were maybe my last year they was trying to institute the limit. Think about a coach recruiting a kid and he's playing his 3rd game that day. Think about all the energy it takes to play one high school game, right? People don't get this when they say, well, AAU is a bunch of rat ball and high school is real basketball. First of all, hold on a second. Ask Stephen Woods, who coaches Hightower and who also coaches the Houston Hoops, and tell me which one is the most intense. Tell me which one is a more higher level, right? And think about that. If you play 1 game at Hightower in a day, I'm only using Coach Woods because he's on the Facebook feed. Right. You play 1 high school game. Think about all that energy that goes in that high school game. Hyped up game. Now think about playing 2 EYBL games or 3 AAU games in 1 day with college coaches watching. Do you know how much energy those kids have to expend? You know how easy it is to get hurt when you play 3 games? Forget about 1 game. In college, guess what they do, Hatter? They play once, maybe twice a week. That's it. In the summer, in a month, right? You know how many games you can play? And people don't think load management is real? When you play, no matter what happens, if they put 32 minutes on the clock, I don't care if it's a summer game or a real high school game. It's still 32 minutes. Right or wrong? Yeah. It's still 30. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. So there is some truth to it. That maybe Again, they're playing too many games because we didn't play those games when we were young. Michael Jordan didn't play AAU the way they play AAU now. He did not. John Stockton didn't play summer basketball. That system wasn't set up the way it's set up now, where those kids are playing all the way down. You got AAU programs all the way down to the second grade. I mean, does it make sense to you or what?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't understand it. I'm watching the injuries. You feel me? I'm watching the injuries in the NBA. The NBA have some of the best doctors known to man. Okay, the best rehab specialists known to man. And what has happened, Chris, when these guys come to the NBA, and I'm just talking about the top guys, because we're talking about LeBron talking about it. Then and the subject came about when Kawhi Leonard, it started with Popovich. He got fined down there in San Antonio about putting Tim Duncan and Tony Parker on a commercial plane and sending them back home so they can rest. That's where a lot of this stuff started. Okay, so now I'm sitting here looking at I talked to the Clippers the other day, and I asked them about it, and they said, "Man, in other words, we want Kawhi Leonard ready for the championship run. And if we have to do this, because every time he tries to go hard 2 days in a row, something flares up in that the quad. This is the same injury that Tony Parker said that I got hurt 10 times worse. How the hell you know how somebody else got hurt? And so my thing on load management, if you feel, Jimmy, when I went to the Clippers facility, they have a little, on every uniform, when you put on your uniform when you walk in the door, they clip a thing to your practice uniform into your shorts.
That's right.
And that's telling how many miles you done ran, whatever you done did. They even got a thing, it tells you how many shots you done took, Jimmy. So
artificial intelligence.
Yeah, so Jimmy, they are monitoring. Think about it, man. It's horses that, I love horses and I'm into horses. It's horses dying on racetracks these days, and more horses dying now, and they had to put them to sleep than it ever happened before in history. Guess what, Chris? These horses are getting bigger, they get faster, so guess what? Human beings, LeBron James, wasn't no people like LeBron James.
Unicorn. He's a unicorn, like what you said. Unicorn.
And these guys playing in the same confined 90 by 50 dimensions as they played back in the old days. And you got these big old bodies. Look at it. Did you see the injury with Gordon Hayward? All he did is had a bump and broke his wrist because he bumped up against a dude that's a monster.
Hatter, tell those people to watch the NBA. What they call it on NBA TV, Hatter, with the old games. They show the hardwood classics.
The hardwood classics.
Look at the bodies of those guys, and then fast forward and watch what you see in the day.
It's
Come
different,
on, man.
It's different, y'all. And I'm not trying to give an excuse to nobody. I just been close to these big old bodies running up and down the floor, dude. That's why, secretly, don't tell him. That's why I was so glad my son said, man, Dad, I'm hanging this stuff up. He got injured every single year. I even told you the story that the trainer had to move his satellite office to the court during practice. And I said, why? He said, your son plays so hard, he gonna get hurt. He get hurt every day in practice. But he was a little guy thinking his body is like LeBron's. And y'all don't understand, you're going to get hurt, man, in this game. That's why they said what they said, availability is the best ability now, Chris.
Best ability. And I'm going to tell you something else, guys. You can think it all you want. And when you talk about college basketball and high school basketball, people only look at the games when they talk about load management, Jimmy. What about practicing every day? What about practicing 3 hours every day?
Hold on. And
There's the load management in that.
You stealing my thunder now. That's where I
What
was.
do you think?
That's where I'm going. Okay. Add the training in there.
Mm-hmm.
Add the training in there. I don't know. I've never been a trainer or nothing. So what's the average training session? How did your son went to training? What's the average session when a kid go work out? What's the average in 3 days? I don't know.
About an hour to 30 minutes, hour. Most trainers gonna come in and get you in there for an hour because they want to make their money. They want to make their break.
So from the NCAA standpoint, they get about 8 hours in the NCAA standpoint because the coaches want the other piece they want you to be on the court more than they want you to do the training. So they're gonna get about 8 hours, 8 to 10 of your hours a week on training, lifting, strength and conditioning, X, Y, and Z. Because you can only be on the court 20 hours.
I'm talking about.
You're talking about the young fellas.
I'm talking about the college stipulations.
No, you're talking about the young fellas, Jim.
Young people.
The young people.
What was the average? As Hatter said, an hour is the average session. What are the average sessions per week? And many of you guys, I love to hear some of your thoughts.
Jimmy, always remember too, Jimmy, some of these were group sessions, so they don't get as much because it's a group. You follow me? It's a group session, so it don't get it. But let's say 3 times a week. 3 times a week.
So 3 times a week is 3 actual hours of pretty much running, standing, jumping, and competing.
Just talking about pounding on your body.
And Jimmy, that's just if you're in an individual session, that's an hour. But if you go an hour with other guys, you're not running jumping as much.
You're not doing as much because
you're
there's so many guys.
Because the other guys got to go. The reps are not there. I just want to give you that information.
So let's say John Lucas workouts used to be at Rice back in the day.
Those are 75 hours. John could get 25 hours out of a 24-hour day.
But John got 1 million people in there, Jimmy.
Yeah. So that means they're there for longer times, but it probably balances off because they're longer in the gym. Right. Think about the average individual is probably still around the same hours.
Yeah, not as many reps. Right, I get you.
So let's take this and do the math. Mm-hmm. And I'm going up top of the dome. Mm-hmm. We just use safe math. That's 3 hours a week of individual development training. Okay. The average game in the summer ball is a 32-minute on the clock. Yeah. A lot of these games, they're in intervals of an hour and 10 minutes. They start another game. So 32 minutes on the clock. The average kid on a summer ball team at that younger age, they're not subbing as much. They playing. Now, the younger age, the clock's only 14-minute halves. They don't play the same 20-minute or 16-minute. They play a shorter clock, but they play more games. So these young kids who take more steps to get from court to court, their bodies aren't developed as much. They're still in the process of growing, and they're expected to go and bring and pull 25 minutes out of a 32 minutes times 3 games a day on a weekend. That's understand. That's 75 minutes on one day. Then another day, 75 minutes. Then another day, another 3 games, 75 minutes. So then you factor that and add that to the workouts. It's easy to understand. That's why I'm thinking it's more so at that component of the sub-high school season where the wear and tear is definitely more. Because when we were younger, and you wonder, like you mentioned, those bodies of those guys, back in the old days, it was almost common practice to play 2 sports. Mm-hmm. It was common practice. So that means your bodies, if I'm bending something, and I'm bending and I'm making a crease in that muscle, I'm using nothing but this muscle, right? Well, before we would go and play football or something, so now the muscle going this way. So now you're using more creases. It ain't the same muscle that we're tearing up, ain't the same part of the body that we're exercising and increasing over and over and over. I understand this. Think about it. Also back then, those grown men, they smoked cigarettes on the bench. They partied all freaking night James Harden would not have lasted with these guys back in the
why
old
you
days.
got to mention James' name, man?
He wouldn't have made it, man. These dudes, they did it on a whole nother level. You ever heard of a dude named Marvin Barnes?
Let him finish
Played
his
for the
story, Chris.
Kentucky Colonels. I go it on, but these
Yeah.
dudes did it on another level. Keep going, Jimmy.
Come
I
on,
mean,
Jim.
so it makes me to believe, understand, the guy, all of the different, and I'm not, by no means am I concluding of some scientific study. I'm just raising the that, man, those guys play with 7 pair of socks and some Chuck Taylors that was made of cloth and didn't have a whole lot of ACL injuries. But now guys are playing in $200 and $300 sneakers. Follow me now. Nowadays, and you get every week you get an ACL injury. Every month somebody different.
We may not know, Jimmy. They might have been getting hurt back then. I was at the Bulls game, and they were showing. They had these. I mean, you've never been to United Center, man. That's a big time arena.
Great
in
arena.
Chicago.
Great arena.
A great arena. Great arena. Looks like an Africa hanger, but it's a great arena. And they showing all these graphics of Scottie Pippen on this big old thing. They showed Michael Jordan, and then they showed all the guys that had their numbers retired. And then they showed Jerry Sloan.
Yes.
And I took a picture of it, and I got to send it to y'all so we put it on the Facebook feed. He was playing in Chuck Taylors. It blew me away. I was like, they really played in Chuck Taylors?
Yes.
Chuck Taylors.
I couldn't believe. I was like, that dude got canvas sneakers on. I thought he was gonna tear his ankle up on the video, on the photo. I'm like, man, take them shoes off the photo. You gonna get hurt.
Hey, Jimmy, they tore their ankles too.
They did.
They was just, you know how they said, I hate to say it, they was just a little tougher than these guys. These guys here, man, just a little bit. I guess it's the milk that we drinking now. You remember, because milk helped the bones.
Hatter. You say it to me all the time, Hatter. If you drive in a Ferrari, you don't drive that Ferrari every day. It's not an everyday car.
Yeah, no. A Ferrari is an everyday car. Some of these cars are not, but a Ferrari is.
You know what I'm saying? You can't drive it to get milk. You can't drive it to drive down the street. It's not that kind of car where you just turn it on every second. You can't get these cars like you driving a Prius.
Jimmy
back in the day was Priuses.
Jimmy doing the money dance. Jimmy, I don't think it got nothing to do with money. Trina said something good. Trina said something excellent.
Got something to do with money.
What? Huh?
Everything got something to do with money.
I know, but I'm just telling you, Trina said something. No, I'm talking about money don't make these guys' bodies break down. That's the point I'm trying to make. Money don't make these guys' bodies break down. Trina said it's the food. The food is different than it used to be, Jimmy.
Well, I'll check this what LeBron James says.
Well, I don't care about what he said.
And I'm reading about the nutrition part. I'll read you the quote on LeBron. LeBron says, you know, those kids are tired and they don't get to eat great too. The nutrition part. They don't eat well at 14, 15, 16. See, that's why I went to think that he was talking about that 8th graders for most part, and his kid is 16, is going on 16 now. So he thought he was thinking about his kid who just finished his 9th grade season of summer basketball. Okay. So then he goes, they're taking all that pounding and they're not putting the right shit in their body.
Oh, food. Okay.
Right? I'm quoting LeBron.
Okay.
Right? And so he goes and he said, he mentioned about after the games, he mentions McDonald's, that's a lot of the kids put in their body most after these tournaments, and which is the nutrition part. We understand that's a contributing factor. And I'm in the middle of the street on this one. I understand about eating healthy. I really do. I understand.
Very important.
Way back from the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad about eating, eating to live to eat, not eat to live. But here's my thing. These kids, right? If you're going to manufacture a module of a kid from the 12-year-old all the way through and manufacture him to where he's going to eat a strict diet, not going to never eat no junk food, He's gonna train properly, rest properly, load management will be applied properly. Then academics better be in there somewhere. I'm hoping as well. But then what would you expect the outcome to be if that's what you're going to manufacture throughout a certain for the betterment of excelling at a certain sport or being one step faster and one notch better? What would your expected outcome be if you're going to raise it like that?
You know what somebody, a nutritionist once told me, Chris, and I know you got something to say. Chris, explain this to me. And I promise you, I try to follow that as much as I can now. He said, Robert, if a lot of these foods that you're eating are make you sick, okay, and make you hypertension, don't you know you can eat certain foods that'll make you well? If you follow your law, if you must go up, you must go down. If it's light, it's dark. You follow me, Chris? So if it's some foods out there that you can eat, because everybody said that's bad for you, that's bad. Then they said there are some foods that'll make you better, that make you. What do you believe in that theory, Chris Walker?
Dude, let me tell you something. If you've been to California, if you've made the drive from San Francisco down to 101 all the way to LA, you will pass a patch right past Fresno where they probably got 1 million cows, right? Mm-hmm. And the smell that comes from where those cows are is the most unbearable thing that you've ever smelled in your life. Then you watch some of these specials on some of these food
processing plants.
Processes. Mm-hmm. Guys, if they're using stuff, if they're putting hormones into the food, if they're putting drugs into food, and it's into the animals' bloodstreams, we're absorbing that as well.
Wow.
You understand that? Think about it, when you go eat those nasty donuts, when you go to like the dollar store, when you go to the dollar store and they get those, Jimmy, they got those donuts you never heard of before. You know what I'm saying? Or you go to one of these stores that don't have organic food, or it's not, or they say this chicken is, what they say, these chickens are, oh my God, what's the word they use? Not organic, but range free. Like they have all these sexy words. You know what those sexy words mean? Poor people can't afford it. That's what those words mean. They can't afford what quote unquote is the good stuff. So we eat a lot of the bad stuff. And who are a lot of these kids that make it to the NBA? If you listen to Mitt Romney,
wow.
A lot of them that end up eating the bad stuff.
Wow.
You know what I used to tell my kids? If you really want to beat up on a team, think about it in a summer game. When you take your kids, you know what the most important thing is when you get to college? You ask any college coach, diet. They spend more money on food than you would believe. You got to go to Alabama and see how they treat these guys when it comes to food.
Oh, yeah.
You have to see it. They have an executive chef. They tell them how to gain weight. They tell them how to lose weight. You don't learn that in high school, man. Cool. The college coach, Jimmy, is not allowed to buy your hamburger. Am I right or wrong, Jimmy?
Not allowed.
Jim,
not allowed.
Hold up. They're not about, hold up. What about, I keep laughing about the NCAA. You can buy a bagel, but you can't give them the cream cheese because that's a violation.
It's about, you can't buy them food. Now you can take them out to dinner. But What I'm saying is nutrition, the way, you got to understand, man, we live in a sick care system, not a healthcare system. And when it comes to our food is making people sick. I was watching a movie one time. I forget that movie. They had that black superhero on Netflix. I forget his name. And they were saying, my brother, the fork will kill you quicker than a bullet. The fork will kill you quicker than a bullet. We have more people dying of diabetes. We have more people dying of hypertension, or not that that's related to eating bad, or we have more people who are dying because their bodies are failing them than people are being shot by guns. The food industry is doing more damage than these prisons. The food industry is doing more damage than anybody knows. So now you put that food in these athletes, and some of these guys just think they can eat certain foods forever. I was reading an article. I forget the guy's name. I was reading it because of the Seahawks, and I got that win, by the way, Jimmy. We're playing against the 49ers. Remember the guy that's the twin, the cornerback hatter?
Yeah,
that has
the Griffin twin.
And he said that I was too heavy.
Yeah.
And so they have a private chef from San Diego. Think about it. They live in Seattle. They have a private chef that flies up twice a month, cooks all their food for them. He said he lost maybe 15 to 20 pounds, and it changed his game. But think about what this dude is paying that guy to eat the right way. And think about these kids that eat McDonald's. Man, if you think that meat at McDonald's is real, man, guess what? I got some sand I can sell to you over there in Egypt.
Yeah, but
it's not real food.
Okay, but Chris, okay, at one point, okay, here's the thing. At what point did you come to that stance against the fast food?
When you got some money? When you got a couple of dollars?
Listen, what did I tell you guys earlier? Your scope, when you're poor, your scope is only as far as you can walk. Villanova was the best thing ever happened to me because I never knew what it's like to live somewhere else other than Houston.
That's great.
And guess what? And I went to Villanova. Guess what I learned? And y'all laugh at me.
No.
But I remember going to dinner at this Chinese place. I used to drive by this place every day. And when I was a kid in Houston, Jimmy, you know how we grew up. We thought that, they made Chinese food with rats. Am I lying, Jimmy? Am I lying?
Me too.
We were like, man, we don't eat that. They serve rats, man. They kill rats.
That was the ignorant rumor that was spread.
But that's how we grew up on South Howell Street. And then I went in there and had that Kung Pao chicken one time, and went in there and had some of that food that they eat, that General Show chicken. I'm like, hold on, man. This food is just as good as the other food I'm eating. If there's barbecue chicken over here, what I'm saying is it's ignorance, man. That's when you learn. You learn how food helps or doesn't help your body. You learn the difference between a simple sugar and a complex sugar. That's education. So again, when we think about the food deserts in some of these neighborhoods, think about the bank deserts, Hatter, in some of our neighborhoods. Jimmy, is there a Chase Bank in Riverwood? I don't know. In Rosewood? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Heck
is
no.
there a Bank of Homestead?
Remember, I told you it ain't even Chick-fil-A. You think about that. How many Chick-fil-A's in the hood? They know.
Hey, let me tell you something. I remember when they were having planning HEB, Jimmy. They done put one on McGregor. Jimmy, they was having some reluctance about that, putting a super HEB in that area. But it's a lot of other people that moved in that area, so they fought against it. But it's this stuff is serious now. This stuff is Chris, you hitting on something, but keep on, carry on. If you notice, I'm just sitting back, I'm taking notes. Keep on.
No, I'm just saying, guys. But forget about that. The food part. How about a bank desert? Jimmy, is there a Bank of America Homestead? Last time I checked.
No.
Why not? Why is it only credit unions? Why is it only check cash?
Wow.
It's pay their loans. They got to pay their loans on that shit.
Like crazy. But you'll never find a Chase, a TD Ameritrade. Can we get a TD Ameritrade or something? A TD Bank? The one that's still open 7 days?
I got something for you.
It's going to be a Whole Foods.
Tyrone Irvin just said, Chris Walker for Mayor Pro Tem. I want to be the whole mayor. Hey, Mayor Pro Tem.
but Jimmy,
hold on, Tyrone, you're gonna be in charge of the technology when Chris we launch this thing. Boy, let me tell you something. If this thing goes through one day,
yeah,
and I swear to you, this will be you talking about a movie.
Right.
This will be a movie. If it goes through and Chris Walker can happen to pull this thing right and generate and how they're gonna be a part of the
it's on.
How to be part of the communications director.
Hey, I'm gonna be the Jimmy. Hey, I know Jimmy. Me and him already had a meeting. Hey, do y'all see Power? Y'all watch Power, right?
You gonna be Andre?
No. I'm gonna be the dude. Hold up. I'm gonna be the dude that send that girl down there. You know the girl that coming down there? I'm gonna be the dude that sent her down there. You ain't gonna never see me. I'm gonna be the one that pushing the buttons, you understand me?
Hey man, I tell people like I tell people all the time, if you gotta be willing to be comfortable being uncomfortable if you want to be unstoppable. And all I'm saying is that at some point we got to make people uncomfortable. We have to if we want to be unstoppable. Just like this platform we're on right now. I know for a fact, I don't care how much money they pay Stephen A. Smith. Tell him to come on the Chop Shop.
Yes, sir.
Tear him a new one. Because in our world, we the Stephen A's in this world.
That's right.
Sterling Sharp on this with his bow tie on this show. Okay?
Yeah.
And I guarantee you we'll tear him a new one. So what I'm saying is people don't understand what we got here. And in Houston, we can do that too. We're just in the incubation stage right now. Because what we're doing is we're trying to power the youth. Because the youth is tomorrow.
Hey, Jimmy, y'all just this boom boom room, man. There's something wrong with them. Sick. They just talk about anything. They talk about. But you know what? Hey, you know when I get a chance, Jimmy, they got a Godfather of Harlem. I don't know if you had a chance to tape it yet.
I haven't seen it.
Man, they got Adam Clayton Powell. Jimmy, they got Adam Clayton Powell. Man, you got to see it, man. The Godfather of Harlem is on one of them premium channels now. You got to have it's a premium channel. If you got the stick, you can get it. But it's a premium channel on Epix. It's on Epix. Jimmy is what Adam Clayton Powell. Remember that name. Chris, I've been studying him lately. Man, this show is portraying him as something. Oh my God, y'all got to see it. But I didn't. But they made me think about it on the Boom Boom Room. That's all.
And so, of course, Stephen Wood has quoted Chris Walker's quote, and I hope he doesn't apply it as his own quote to those kids at practice today at Hightower High School.
What did he say?
Said, you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable if you want to be unstoppable.
Oh, are you going to use it?
So, Chris, you better watch Stephen Wood. Stephen Wood's about to take that one. He's about to take that one.
Listen, I steal everybody's stuff, man. It's all good.
Chris.
Hey, listen,
so that ain't Chris comment then.
No. Chris be reading James Allen and all of them, man. Come on, man.
Well, listen, man, this knowledge don't come from anywhere. I listen, at the end of the day, you in order for you to innovate, you got to learn how to imitate. You imitate before
That's
you
right. Be a thief.
We don't have to reinvent the wheel. I just put a new set of rims on it.
Hey, Jimmy, I want you to listen to that. When you be telling me when I get somebody else's tweet it, nigga, in my words now.
Man, don't you believe that man? Don't plagiarize. He on CBS Sports and he'll be calling games. When is your first game, Chris? When are you going?
I'll be on CBS December 4th. South Carolina Gamecocks versus the UMass Minutemen. December 4th. That's who's
going to be alongside you? You doing the color or you doing the broad?
I always do the talent. I don't always do the color. I don't know yet who's with me. I usually have a partner for a bunch of my games, the same guy, but it may be someone different for that game. Usually one of those guys that do the NFL on CBS.
Well, of course, man, we definitely wish you well. And you guys make sure you give us, Chris, you're going to give us the details on that again as we get closer to the 4th. And as you guys see and understand, we hope that we provided you with some great intel today. If nothing else, to go and now it's your job. Take it upon yourself to make it your obligation to wake somebody else up and share this intel. That's what helps the Chop Shop grow. And you guys, they're great.
I can't stand Marcus Sloan, man.
I
can't stand Marcus Sloan, man. I hate him, man.
And of course, it's almost time, guys. You look at the clock, man. One thing about the Chop Shop, I was talking with Tyrone Irvin last night. I said, Tyrone, I said, Tyrone, we'll go back on the radio, man. I don't know, man. We might, say, no, people want y'all to go 3-4 hours. I said, no, hell no. I said, if anything, we're trying to go back to an hour. When Chop Shop first started, Chris, we were only 1 hour. People forget that.
I remember.
On the AM radio dial.
That's all y'all was worth back then, Jimmy. Jimmy, y'all done upgraded. That's all it was worth back then.
Hey, man. Man, 2 and 3 and 4 hours.
Hey, y'all, I got to tell this story, Jim. Chris Walker called me to my house. Come on the show. This wasn't the Chop. This was the Chris Walker show, right? I came on. Right. I said, Chris, you ain't going to be asking me none of them crazy questions, easy, man. See, Chris,
What do you mean?
You was coming. You know you was gonna try to come on, man. You know y'all be playing players. You know he was going to try to question the agent community, and that's why I was reluctant to ever be on this show. But he finally, after about I don't know how many times he called me, I said, "Okay, man, I'm gonna do this for you." Now, what you got to say?
He ain't left since. And I remember when I first started, when I started doing the games on CBS, I couldn't do the radio show. I said, Jimmy, you should come do the show because I'll be gone. And then after that, we had to start the Chop Shop because he was there more than I was.
Yeah.
So then we went to another radio station. We started the Chop Shop because it was just hard because I was never there. So Jimmy basically had his own show.
Right.
So it's been good to see this thing evolve. People don't know how this thing has evolved over years. It has taken a lot of work. We learned a lot about the radio business.
Wow.
There's a lot of knuckleheads in the radio business. It ain't what it seems.
Right.
It ain't what it seems. And right now, this platform we on, thanks to Robert Hatter being the guy who's put this all together, like I don't think people understand what it takes to do a live show, the commitment it takes. You got to realize podcasting is different than what we're doing. We can podcast anytime and you can catch it. This is a live show every single day. It takes a commitment for all these three guys on the screen. And we appreciate the Boom Boom Room because we need them listening to keep us motivated to do it.
Yeah.
And we thank you guys. Thank you guys for joining in and supporting the Chop Shop. And shout out to Coco Menchaca. I see you up on there.
Coco!
When I first time view on the Chop Shop, and Coach Leah's in Atlanta. And shout out to her, the newlywed. And thanks to all you guys. Once again, if we can get you to share today's show, that's all it takes. And that's the power of the unified power of the footprints of the Chop Shop gaining traction through the digital atmosphere. So with that being said, of course, there was a couple of pieces of breaking news. We're in on that. Eric Gordon is expected to be out with the Houston Rockets for about 6 weeks. And that's on an already fragmented bench, just got thinner with Eric Gordon going out on the Houston Rockets. So they're going to make some decisions very soon on what they're going to do. Meanwhile,
Andre Iguodala.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking right now. He's still available, and it may be time to go and pull because nothing else. You get his expertise on that bench. Understand? He's a year older, and he's not no spring chicken anymore.
Lakers getting him, man. We getting him with the Lakers, man. Y'all crazy.
He ain't going on,
Lakers.
Man.
He doesn't want to leave California, man. I'm trying to tell y'all what I know. He doesn't have, like you said, inside information with Memphis. Well, I got inside information. He does not want to leave California.
I got another name that the Rockets probably can consider, and that probably can help them a great deal, especially with considering the speed that Russell Westbrook plays. Jamal Crawford may not be a bad consideration.
Yes.
That's something to think about.
Listen, man, it's not enough miles to feed. That would be a problem.
What do you mean? He coming off the bench. He was a sixth man of the year multiple times.
Jimmy, he's gonna shoot it every time. He only gonna shoot it when
what the hell do Eric Gordon do?
He's only gonna shoot it when he touch it. That's the only time he gonna shoot it.
How many? What does Eric Gordon do?
Man, all right, okay.
You watched him in Chicago last week. Every time Gordon get it,
That's his job. His job is to shoot it, but Jamal Crawford gonna shoot it He gonna shoot it more than James gonna shoot it.
Hey, Jimmy, you got to get me in practice because I had some breaking news, y'all, of how many days ago, Jimmy? How many days ago I had this? I gave y'all some news, right? But I gave it, Jimmy, you could have broke it. You talking about me, you could have broke it.
Man, no, because that was going into the weekend, and then I forgot about it. You broke the news up to us about Paul George making his debut with the Houston Rockets when the Clippers come to town on Wednesday. This was on Friday. Remember, we said all the time, all hell breaks loose once the Chop Shop goes off the air on Thursday. Everything happens. Everything always happens on Friday. So, of course,
that's the way media works.
That's the way it goes. And so now, sure enough, they finally broke the news today that Paul George is expected to make his season debut in Houston on this swing. So that means Wednesday's game just got hotter. So you have Paul George, Kawhi, and James Harden, Russell Westbrook and and don't forget now, the X factor. Patrick Beverly comes back home.
Oh, that's
and,
right.
and understand. And on Harold from Louisville,
Yeah.
he comes back.
Yeah.
Lou Williams comes back. Whenever a team plays against their players, play against their former team, it's always a built-in incentive. We'll talk about that and a lot more on tomorrow on the Chop.
Jimmy, I want you to hit on this one right quick. You know, we always talking about Woj being connected to the GMs and to higher up. This is some information that the Chop Shop had way before Woj ever had it.
Yeah,
way before Woj ever. So I want you to show the importance of that.
That's all. We apologize for not breaking this news with you guys.
Yeah,
we really did. We talked so much in Memphis and the NCAA. Monopolized the topics on yesterday. But we definitely apologize because we said we won't make that mistake again, not the same way. And also in NBA news, despite being hired only 2 months ago, the CEO of the Brooklyn Nets has been fired.
What?
Understand?
Kyrie Irving?
Only 2 months on the job. David Levy is out of the Brooklyn Nets. How about that already? So we'll elaborate on that.
We're going to talk about that tomorrow.
Make sure, guys, you share the show. Thanks so much for tuning into the Chop Shop. Don't forget, on this Saturday, we'll leave you guys with one good I want to get this commercial for you guys to watch. A couple of commercials. You guys hang right there as we go out. But don't click out yet. Make sure you watch these bulletins. Thanks so much, guys. See you on tomorrow.
I can't believe you did me like that. I got to turn it off.
Saturday, November the 16th at the M.O. Campbell Center located in Houston, Texas. That's the RCS Sports season opener. A day filled of high school boys basketball starting at 9:30 a.m. when Aldine Nimitz takes on Houston Christian, followed by Aldine Davis versus Sam Houston. Langham Creek will take on Summer Creek. Westbury Christian versus Port Arthur Memorial. How about Dickinson versus Beaumont United? That's a rematch of the Super 16 Extravaganza Championship game. Martin Ranch will take on Jack Yates at 5 p.m., followed by Hightower versus Cypress Creek. And the finale, Shadow Creek versus Episcopal at 8 p.m. That's the RCS Sports season opener, powered by Boost Mobile. A limited amount of $5 tickets are on sale now at all participating schools. That's the season opener on Saturday, November the 16th.
Hold up, we got some more to it.
We're playing basketball. We love it, basketball. We're playing basketball. We love it, basketball.
What's up, basketball fans? Rossi Karen here with U Sports Group. I want to take the time to officially invite everyone out to the Battleground 2K19, December 18th, here at the Toyota Center. The Battleground 2K19 will be one of college basketball's premier events of the season, featuring Big 12 powerhouse Baylor Bears as they take on the UT Martin Skyhawks. The defending Mountain West champions and preseason top 25 ranked Utah State Aggies will go head-to-head with the South Florida Bulls. And the Pac-12's Oregon State Beavers will battle Conference USA favorites, the UTSA Roadrunners. The background for this triple header will be the Athletes Against Abuse initiative. Athletes Against Abuse is a children's rights campaign created to inspire athletes to use their talent, notoriety, and influence to bring awareness to child abuse in our country. The A3 initiative will utilize this basketball platform to blend sport and service. For more information on the Athletes Against Abuse initiative or to purchase your tickets to the Battleground 2K19, visit battleground2k.com. So, join me here at the Toyota Center, December 18th for the Battleground 2K19.
Take us out of here, Jimmy.
All right, guys. See you guys, man. It's time to slide on down. Time to yabba dabba do this thing and slide down Dino's back on behalf of the hater, and of course the hat. Hey, see you guys on tomorrow, man. Chop shop.
We out. Let me give you something. Let me give you something to take you out. Hold on, I got something for y'all.
Jim Hicks, Rob Hatter. You are now tuned in to the Chop Shop. I'm Retro. Let's get it. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk. We live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. I'm talking sports talk. So turn your dials up. It's live in the Chop Shop. We in the Chop Shop. We live in the Chop Shop. We talking sports talk.